Stay tuned, because in this next episode, we're going to meet a couple that is going to change your perspective on how you last long in marriage. If you want to learn more about it, stay tuned for this next episode of Safe House. What's up, Safe House family?
What's up?
Back again, and we have a special guest for you all this time. We'd like to introduce to you the Roseboroughs.
The Roseboroughs. Sabrina and Duane.
With our little matching shirt.
I love it.
Right.
It's got, look, in the back. We got to show the audience the back.
Okay.
Oh, no cake shots. No.
I was trying to show the year we was married.
Yeah.
How long y'all been married?
My butt was
You got tight pants on, too.
So you want to do it again?
No. Well, you just
No,
show.
we're going to leave that in there.
Yeah, we're gonna put that in there. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's funny. Right.
All right. Yeah, now y'all took by the podcast from being a family thing.
I forgot about that.
Sometimes that happens. That's the price we pay for being married.
No, it's marriage.
Listen, so what? How long have you guys been married?
32 years.
32 years. So the number on the back was
93. March 6, 1993.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, we have 93. Since 1993, we have 2 children, aged 26 and 27.
Yeah, she was 20 years old when she got married. When we got married, I was 23. I turned 24 the next month. She turned 21 in
July.
4 months later. Yeah.
Y'all were like babies.
Babies.
Yeah.
Real babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So y'all knew what y'all were doing, huh?
No. Heck no.
I thought I did, and I had some good ideas and some good thoughts.
He's always been wise.
Some good
Way beyond his years.
substance to go off of. Yeah. So,
Yes, I mean, starting out telling us stuff like what we talk about, even if we get into a conflict, if we got a family member we want to discuss it with, he said, I'll talk to your mother about you, because she's going to always love you. And the same with me, vice versa. You know what I mean? So, I never really talked to nobody about him and his family, but if I could, it was his mother. I did talk to his mother.
We were both family oriented.
That was smart.
Family oriented people. So I told her, and I said the standard. I said, look, I know with 32 years we went through things. I'm like, if something happens as far as with your family, you address it. And if anybody feels they're gonna feel offended or whatever, I'm gonna address it, because I'm still gonna, as my sister, I'm still gonna be their brother, whatever. But how sometimes you can get to the point where a family member don't like your spouse because
they've heard stuff.
Because they got into it with them, and the person got arguments and stuff. It's like, no, don't argue with them. I'm gonna take care of it. I'll argue for you, and you argue for me against your people until we establish that.
But I think that's very good, because over this season, like I said, we've been talking a lot about intimacy. Yeah. And I think that's really good, emotional intimacy. Mm-hmm. When you decide, because emotional intimacy it's a lot of emotion, especially when you're dealing with family, because like I said, we're so busy trying to become one, but we're also trying to figure out how to get our families to become one. And I like what you said. It's like, I'll deal with my family because they know me, they love me. So that's not going to change, because sometimes, like you said, we're just like, well, we're they always say, well, don't get your family involved. It's kind of hard not to get your family involved.
That's true.
Because we're family. So I really like that standard of just saying that, because once again, that also protects both of you, and it solidifies that emotional intimacy that you both have, because at some point you guys are going to talk about whatever that conversation was.
Yeah.
Well, I had learned earlier, actually, when I was dating, and I had a young lady I was dating, and I used to say all the bad things about them. I would share with my friend all the negative things, and my friend couldn't stand her. But then I was still dating her, and I realized that he loved me. So because I'm sharing all the negative things, and I wasn't sharing anything positive, he developed a mental picture of who she was, and it was like, I don't like her. And when I decided we're married, I'm like, I never wanted to make that mistake again. I never wanted to be frustrated, so I'm pouring out negative things about my wife, and then I'm still getting back, and we get back together, and we good, and everybody else who loved me like, I don't, they looking at us sideways. So I just thought that we can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all mentioned family like in the beginning, right? You know, and y'all came up with a mechanism on how we're going to interact. So what we find in marriages is that usually there's one family that's more dominant than the other family. So in our marriage, her family is obviously the bigger, more dominant.
They are
family,
more dominant.
right?
Yeah.
So is it you have a more dominant family in your relationship, or you both sort of equal in terms of? And when I mean dominant, what does that mean? That doesn't mean they come over and take over stuff, but they tend to have more events. They tend to have more people there. They tend to be more phone calls. You know, just they have more of a presence in your life.
That's a good one.
We're close. I would probably still lean toward my family.
Yeah.
More of it because we're just so much bigger.
They're bigger. They're much bigger.
The volume of people and then we're both. I think the close-knit of it. We've had to do double Thanksgiving, double Christmases.
Yeah. Everything else. Mine's first because they always are early and on time.
And that's a good thing.
His family don't be on time.
And my family gonna leave. They're gonna keep
and they're gonna stay long.
They're gonna stay long.
They're gonna shut it down. It's gonna be parties. It's gonna be more food. Yeah, it's gonna be
So we've been doing that for almost our whole marriage.
Yeah.
You know, we go over to her family and celebrate, and we know goodness what they know. Like Thanksgiving, they gonna start at 12 or 1. You know, okay, about 3, I might leave. I might let her stay a little longer.
Right.
And I'm going to my family
then I'll
house.
come over
They ain't
later.
gonna all get there till about 5. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna stay. So it worked out. It worked out. You know.
I love that because once again, it shows too that you both had this understanding, like you said, of family.
Yes.
And family is obviously very important to both of you.
Yes.
And so it just doesn't sound like there was ever this level of competition of like, okay,
No.
like you said, if she wanted to stay longer, she could, and then she'll just meet me, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's a real big place of contention for a lot of couples,
Yeah.
which could once again affect intimacy. Because like you said, when you got big families, I could just say I am going to say because my family is bigger, there probably were moments where my family would probably affect our intimacy because, Andre, he says he's an introvert, but like I said, Andre says, I like to, what you always say, I like to shut it down.
Yeah.
My family will stay all night long.
Yeah.
So we had to really find a balance, because like I said, that's all I knew was my family before I got married to Andre. So the fact that his family was small and didn't get together that much, that was just like alien to me. So it was probably a bigger adjustment for me to say, okay, to tell my family, okay, we got to tone it down a little, just so he would feel comfortable, because once again, this is my husband, so I got to try to. I felt like the onus was on me to balance that.
It was wild because I wouldn't say her family needed to tone it down. I don't think we needed to be the last couple to lead a party every time the party would go on. But it's like everybody be gone and we still there.
That's why we started driving separately.
Yeah, that's the introvert side. Right? Lana dancing to the last song.
But just with my family though, everybody else, I'd be like deuces. I'm ready to go.
The crazy part is that our families, we knew each other before we knew each other, meaning our churches fellowship with one another.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think it was way back. He said he saw me when I bought my.
Well, you're going to get to that question. I think you got a question of how we met.
Yeah, we are going to.
That's going to
Because we're still into the couple intro, so
If you want to flow into it, go ahead.
Right. So he's supposed to tell a couple stories how we really met, but we met before we really met. He saw me at his church directing, because I used to be over the young people's choir, and said he was sitting in the audience and he thought I was much older than what I was, because I call people babies, and I was like, these are my babies, and that's our intro. He's like, wait,
and
what?
She had teenagers in there and everything else. At this particular time, I realized, because I'm 3 years older than her. I was 19, she was 16, but she came across as older.
Okay.
So, but I was checking her out, and she looked
mature.
like, and so I'm like, okay. So
like that.
I remembered her from then.
Okay.
Okay. Now, fast forwarded to our meeting. We had a couple of other meetings. So God had this way he hooked it up. Okay, her uncle was pastor.
Uncle Pastor.
So, like I said, their fellowship. He used to come and preach revivals at my church and everything else. So he comes over there and he tells us he can get me a job at Commonwealth Edison, but I need to come to their Friday night services. Now I'm a teenager now, so I'm like, okay, let me go to their Friday night services. Now I was just breaking up with a young lady, and so it was perfect timing because she had went off to school. So I come to the.
So I'm sitting in the choir stand, right, me and my girlfriend, and I'm like, when you small church, you see a nice looking young man coming to the door, like, oh, wait, yeah, what?
Her and her friend was checking me out, but I saw it. I peeped it.
His sister was there. His sister was there. Of course, she was in, because it was a community choir, she was in the choir that I was over. So we knew each other. So I was like, that's your brother? I said, can you introduce me? Okay. So
she wanted to go back to that. So because I was just breaking up out of a relationship, and she had my sister, my little sister, my annoying little sister, introduce her, I was like, I wasn't really seeing her as a equal, because I was like, okay, she seemed like she cool with my little sister, and that ain't. So I remembered her a little bit, but I didn't really get into her. And so she always told me earlier, she went upstairs. What time
I
was you?
was like, wait, I looked in the mirror, I was like,
am I looking good or something like that?
Maybe I said, looks good, my teeth. Like, I don't know. But he just totally just iced me.
I was still focused
on
on the Commonwealth Edison job that Pastor baited me
and
with,
then his sister,
because it wasn't there. But it was like this. And then my sister. So
then
now we go to this.
Meeting.
So now we go to the real official meeting.
The real meeting.
So they have a wedding, and she's like a maid of honor.
One of my
good
girlfriends.
My auntie and my mother and two of my aunts, three of my aunts were supposed to go, because I said our church is fellowship. They were supposed to go to the wedding. One of my aunts decided not to go, but they RSVP'd. So my mother, this is like divine hookup. She was like, Duane, you want to go? And I was like, oh, now mind you, I'm done with that other girl. I was like, that girl gonna be there, I think. I didn't know. So this is my mind.
And
I said,
thinking
yeah.
about me.
So I said,
thinking about me.
yeah. So I was like, yeah, let me go there. So when I went there, okay, we're at the reception, and she's up there with the bride.
Yes.
But I see her, she's pointing at me.
Yeah.
So she said me. So I was like, okay. So this is
Then I asked my cousin Ray, bless his soul. He's no longer with us. Love him to death. And he knew Ray.
I knew Ray because Ray used to play.
Ray would always play for my uncle when he came over to church. So I was like, Ray, I said, tell that guy right there, Duane. You talking about Duane? Oh, I know him. That's my guy. Okay, tell him to go to the other table, because he's on a table with all his family. We can't hook up like that with all his family. No. So he tells him to go to the other table. And I kept walking. Oh, you're supposed to tell us.
So she wanted it. But here, okay, so she tells me to go to another table. He tells me to go to the table because I saw her checking me out. I remember that she checked me out. I said, okay, we're gonna hook this up. She wanted to meet me. I said, cool. So I go to the table. So she walks past the table. So I said, okay. I said, okay, I'm at the table again by myself. We had one of the empty tables. She walks past the table again. So then it got down on me. I said, oh, okay. Even though she told her cousin she wanted to meet me, she wants me to beckon her. So I was like, I'm slow on that. So she walked, I'm like, hey. And she was like, so she comes like she was surprised, and I'm like,
it's beckon.
But I'm like, wait a minute. I said, hey, come here. And so she turns around like she's surprised, and I'm like, wait a minute, you told your cousin that you wanted to meet me, but I'm like, I'm like, okay, cool. And so then from there, we exchanged, we talked, and
that was our conversation on the first night.
How long did y'all date?
Before we got married,
Yes.
that was May 1991, and we got married March in 1993. Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the official hookup story. Yeah.
And when we say hookup, we're not talking about hookup culture.
No.
This is
Right.
connecting.
Yes, connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about that too, like like cheat sheets for
Cheat codes. Yeah.
cheat
We try to
codes
give singles
for
cheat codes
yeah. So like I said,
people.
even thinking about that, and like I said, even being as young as you guys were, it's like I said, like you said, it wasn't like the hookup. It's like, no, we were really dating. Like I said, we were really, learning about each other, trying to figure out.
Courting, as I was going to say.
Exactly. I mean, nobody uses that word anymore, but I think that's just so important for our singles to do that, to know that when you start out courting, this, to me, that's a very good foundation on being married for a very long time.
Quick story. This goes right into it. So I was pretty much I was in church, growing in church, but I was an aggressive young man, finding myself, but aggressive with the ladies. So with her, she set standards and boundaries. And one of our first couple of dates, I'm
no
in
conquest here.
Yeah. So I'm coming in there and I'm doing my normal. I used to always have a thing, okay, you let me touch your thigh. I can touch this. So she grabs my hand. And so I said, okay, I done had that happen before, but she just really trying to prolong it. So I go to try to touch her again, and then she was like, when she grabbed my hand, she looked at me and she said, I thought you were different.
Oh, come on.
When she looked at me, and I looked back in her eyes, and I remember I said, I am. I didn't know I was, because I wasn't. But she set that standard, and I said, I am. And from that point on, I treated her different than I treated any
very
other
respectful.
And
he honored him. He really did.
And the thing that actually, I always say this too, and I wish I had to frame that letter. We were in different parties because she was going to school at that time. She was working. I had quit. I had been junior college. I had quit. I didn't have a job at the time, and I was trying to find myself. You're young. It's like we were young. Remember? And I remember she wrote me a letter, and in that letter she was like, "Hey, you know what? You're better than you're showing." Basically, and she was like, "I see, you got greatness in you and everything else."
Definitely.
And that's what made me start to fall in love. I was never a person I thought I was going to fall in love. But the key thing was that she saw greatness in me when I was questioning my own self. And I was able to look through her eyes and see better of myself. And that you can't get all the time.
Yeah, no, that's
something that's different. And it was no more than just a relationship or a conquest or just somebody to date. It was somebody that saw something in me that I felt that I needed to reach and emulate, from the point of I thought you were different, from the point of I know you're better than you're showing. And it made me actually dig in deeper.
I like that, because I think that's a really good cheat code for the singles is, instead of trying to pursue the physical intimacy first, one of the first things you should try to pursue is the emotional intimacy. Yes. And so like even her writing you that letter, that's emotional intimacy. Being able to see you better than you would even see yourself, and that really, like you said, it's cemented for you the relationship. And so, like you said, even for the cheat code, like you said, for singles is to have a standard. Because a lot of times, when people date, they don't have standards, or they don't want to stand by their standards. They feel like, oh, I really like him, so I'm just going to give in to that type of thing. And so the fact that you were very clear about what you were willing to accept and what you weren't going to accept, like I said, really helped him grow into the person that God would even have him to be. Yes. So like you said, it's very good that, like I say, even in you guys like sharing your beginning, we see how God was just like putting together all these different layers of intimacy that we've been talking about. That's absolutely necessary, not just when you're dating, but when you get married, because you guys had already kind of set that foundation for that.
Yes.
It was a modern day Boaz and Ruth story. Naomi's story. It was really, the whole idea of you guys trying to be in each other's orbit, lining yourselves up where you needed to be. And it's like, okay, I'm interested in this person. I'm interested in that person. It's literally like if you were to do a modern day cast of that story, it really, really lines up. And I appreciate what you said about setting the standard. And the cheat code to me for the young ladies out there is, what I really, really enjoy is don't be afraid to create a little discomfort in the moment.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I thought you were different. Those are powerful words.
Those are very powerful words.
Those words sort of says, I expected more of you, right? I believed you were somebody that was not about this. And it caused you to say, wait a minute, I am different. And I'm not going to go down this path. And this relationship is more valuable than the conquest. So I think
that's good right there.
Yeah.
You must be a preacher, son.
No.
No, and like I said, she looked me in my eyes and it froze me.
You can,
It froze me, and it was just like, wait a minute, you know what? This is going to be something different.
And it was, and at that moment, it said it without saying, I'm disappointed in you. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and something in you says, I don't want to disappoint her.
Because that's a whole different level of intimacy.
Yeah.
Because the thing about intimacy is no matter what level of intimacy you have in a relationship, it should be transforming. It should transform you from one place to the next. And so, like I said, I like that God was really like intertwining that emotional intimacy, because I feel like for women, we're more emotional anyway.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to connect, to make sure that we're connected emotionally, we want the physical, but for us, we need that emotional place, because I think for us, that's our hiding place. That's our safe place. And I feel like if we can be transparent in those places, and you make us feel safe, and we see that we can feed into you and you feed into me, then all the rest of it becomes easy. The physical is like, oh, when we're ready for the physical, now it's like, yeah, because now I trust you.
Yeah, my guards are down. Yep.
All right. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell for notifications so that you know when we publish new content. We're going to keep going with this series, and we're going to get more into not just how they met, but now we're going to start to dig into some of the meat about some of these things that you've gone through and some of the places that you travel. Make sure you tune in to our next episode of Safe House.
Yes. And how do we usually end it?
Peace.